Oh, another evening of Where the Sidewalk Ends. The longest nose in the world belongs to Miss Bessie Bluebonnet, who lets me write things on it. Rudy Felsch. Rudy Felsch knows how to belch better than anyone ever did. Margot says that Rudy Felsch is a nasty, vulgar kid. Someday we will go to hell, or jail, or Canada. But now every night I pray that first Rudy Felsch shows me how. Fred, from out of the cold Caribbean into the desert Liberian, there crawled a strange amphibian, and we shall call him Fred. You say let's call him Ted, or maybe Lou or Jed, but I want to call him Fred. You like Maurice instead, or Barnaby, or Red, or Lucifer, or Ned? Well, anyway, he's dead. The Longhaired Boy. There was a boy in our town with long hair, and I mean really long hair. And everybody pointed at him and laughed at him and made fun of him. And when he walked down the street, and the people would roar and stick their tongues out and make funny faces and run in and slam their door and shout at him from the window until he couldn't stand it anymore. So he sat down and cried till his whole body shook, and pretty soon his hair shook too. And it flapped and flapped and flapped, and he lifted and flew. Straight up into the air like a helicopter. Jenny Ricks saw him and dropped her knitting and screamed, "It's a flying kid!" Luke Hastings ran and hid under old man Merle's car. Miss Terrence fainted. Henry Quist tried to shoot him down, but missed. "I thought he was a crow," he said, and round he sailed all through the day, smiling in the strangest way, with the wind in his hair and the sun in his eyes. We saw him swoop and bank and rise. He brushed the treetops and skimmed the grass on Yerby's lawn and almost crashed right into Hanson's silo, but zoomed up in time and almost hit the courthouse. Old man Cooley bit right through his napkin when he saw a kid fly through the diner door, and out of the window, tipping the ladder where Smokey was painting, he almost had a heart attack. He clung to a rafter, the kid flew on, us running after, cheering and sweating and screaming hooray. Mayor Laurie shouted, "Come down here, kid, we'd like to say how proud of you we are today. Whoever thought our little town would have a hero in it? So I'd like to proclaim this day." "Hey, kid, will you please come down for just a minute?" But the flying kid did not come down. He treaded air above the town, sort of crying and looking down at all of us here on the ground. And then up he flew, up into the clouds, flapping and flapping so far and high, out past the hills and into the sky, until a tiny speck against the sun was all we could see of him, and then he was gone. I have a Band-Aid on my finger, and one on my knee, and one on my nose, and one on my heel, and 2 on my shoulder, and 3 on my elbow, and 9 on my toes, 2 on my wrist, and 1 on my ankle, 1 on my chin, and 1 on my thigh, 4 on my belly, and 5 on my bottom, 1 on my forehead, and 1 on my eye, 1 on my neck in case I might need them. I have a box full of 35 more, but oh, I do think it's sort of a pity I don't have a cut or a sore. It's a lot of Band-Aids, buddy. Dreadful. Someone ate the baby, it's rather sad to say. Someone ate the baby so she wouldn't be out to play. We'll never hear her whining cry or have to feel if she's dry. We'll never hear her asking why. Someone ate the baby. Someone ate the baby, it's absolutely clear. Someone ate the baby because the baby isn't here. will give away her toys and clothes. We'll never have to wipe her nose. Dad says that's the way it goes. Someone ate the baby. Someone ate the baby. What a frightful thing to eat. Someone ate the baby, though she wasn't very sweet. It was a heartless thing to do. The policemen haven't got a clue. I simply can't imagine who would go and eat the baby. That's dreadful. Skinny. Skinny McGrin was so terribly thin that while taking his bath Sunday night, out popped the plug, and slush, swoosh, and glug, glug, it washed Skinny right down the drain out of sight. And where is our dear Skinny bathing tonight? In some underground pool down below, or up there so high in the tub in the sky, where all of the clean people go? The land of happy. Have you ever been to the land of happy, where everyone's happy all day, where they joke and they sing of the happiest thing and everything's jolly and gay? There's no one unhappy and happy. There's laughter and smiles galore. I have been to the land of happy. What a bore. Pirate Captain Jim. Walk the plank, says Pirate Jim. But Captain Jim, I cannot swim. Then you must steer us through the gale. But Captain Jim, I cannot sail. Then down with the galley slaves you go. But Captain Jim, I cannot row. Then you must be a pirate's clerk. But Captain Jim, I cannot work. Then a pirate's captain you must be. Thank you, Jim, says Captain me. Fish. The little fish eats the tiny fish. The big fish eats the little fish. So only the biggest fish get fat. Do you know any folks like that? No. If the world was crazy, you know what I'd eat? A big slice of soup and a whole quart of meat. A lemonade sandwich, then I might try some roasted ice cream or a bicycle pie. A nice notebook salad and underwear roast, an omelet of hats and some crisp cardboard toast, a thick malted milk made from pencils and daisies, and that's what I'd eat if the world was crazy. If the world was crazy, you know what I'd wear, a chocolate suit and a tie of eclair, some marshmallow earmuffs, some licorice shoes, and I'd read a paper of peppermint news. I'd call the boy Susie and I'd call the girls Harry, and I'd talk through my ears, and I'd always would carry a paper umbrella for when it grew hazy, to keep in the rain if the world was crazy. If the world was crazy, you know what I'd do. I'd walk on the ocean and swim in my shoe. I'd fly through the ground and I'd skip through the air. I'd run down the bathtub and bathe on the stair. Then when I met somebody, I'd say, goodbye, Joe. When I met somebody, I'd say, goodbye, Joe. And when I was leaving, I'd say hello. And the greatest men would be silly and lazy, so I would be king if the world were crazy. Stone telling. How do we tell if the window is open? Just throw a stone at it. Does it make a noise? It doesn't. Well, it was open. Now let's try another. Crash! It wasn't. Chester come to school and said, "Dern, art growed another head." Teacher said, "It's time you knowed the word is grew instead of growed." Well, I guess it's important to know. The whole extra head thing is another story. Let's see. The silverfish. While fishing in the blue lagoon, I caught a lovely silverfish, and he spoke to me. "My boy," quoth he, "please set me free, and I'll grant you your wish. A kingdom of wisdom, a palace of gold, or all the goodies your fancies can hold." So I said, "Okay." and I threw him free. And he swam away and he laughed at me, whispering my foolish wish to a silent sea, into a silent sea. Today I caught that fish again, that lovely silver prince of fishes, and once again he offered me, if only I would set him free, any one of a number of wonderful wishes. He was delicious. Forgotten language. Once I spoke the language of flowers, once I understood each word the caterpillar said. Once I smiled in secret at the gossip of the starlings and shared a conversation with the housefly in my head. Once I heard and answered all the questions of crickets and joined the crying of each falling, dying flake of snow. Once I spoke the language of flowers. How did it go? How did it go? The generals. Said General Clay to General Gore, what must we fight this silly war? To kill and die is such a bore. I quite agree, said General Gore. Said General Gore to General Clay, we could go to the beach today, and we'd have ice cream on the way. Grand idea, said General Clay. Said General Clay to General Gore, we'll build castles on the shore. Said General Gore, we'll splash and play. Let's leave right now, said General Clay. So General Gore and General Clay, what if the sea is closed today? And what if the sand's been blown away? A dreadful thought, said General Clay. Said General Gore to General Clay, I always feared the ocean spray. And we may drown, it's true we may. It chills my blood, said General Clay. Said General Clay to General Gore, my bathing suit is slightly tore. We better go on with our war. I quite agree, said General Gore. Then General Clay charged General Gore as bullets flew and cannons roared, and now, alas, there is no more of General Clay or General Gore. Just me, sweet Marie, she loves just me. She also loved Maurice McGee, but she don't, she loves just me. She also loves Louis Dupree. No, she don't, she loves just me. She also loves the willow tree. No, she don't, she loves just me. Poor fool, why can't you see? She can love others and still love thee. Standing on my elbow with my fingers in my ear, biting on a dandelion and humming kind of queer, while I watched a yellow caterpillar creeping up my wrist, I leaned on a tree and I said to me, why am I doing this? The one who stayed. You should have heard the old men cry. You should have heard the biddies when that sad stranger raised his flute and piped away the kiddies. Katie, Tommy, Meg, and Bob followed skipping gaily. Red-haired Ruth, my brother Rob, and little crippled Bailey. John and Niles and cousin Claire, dancing, spinning, and turning. Crossed the hills to God knows where, they never came returning. Crossed the hills to God knows where, the piper pranced a-leading, each child in Hamlin town but me. And I stayed home unheeding. My papa says I was the blessed, for if that music found me, I'd be witchcast like the rest. This town grows old around me, I cannot say I did not hear that sound so haunting hollow. I heard it clear. I was afraid to follow. Melinda May. Have you heard the tiny Melinda May who ate the monstrous whale? She thought she could, she said she would, so she started right at the tail. And everyone said, you're much too small, but that didn't bother Melinda at all. She took little bites and she chewed very slowly, just like good girls should. And that will be enough for tonight.